Where are you today? You're down in the Big Easy?
Yeah, it's Mardi Gras. I mean, if
Right.
one's got to work, someone's going to protect her when she's out there taking pictures of a bunch of drunks and half naked people.
Wait.
Read as somebody's got to throw the beads.
What is
No.
what is her job?
She's a photographer.
Oh, she is?
Yeah,
Oh,
check
nice.
her out.
Oh.
She's huge following on Instagram. Check her out at Nola Val on Instagram. She's got
Really?
100K followers. As she's been published in movies, magazines, TV, and stuff like that. Yeah, she's been. Well, it's the main reason why we have a home here. It's because of her, not because of me. Like to hang out on Bourbon Street and get drunk and get naked, but it's because of her.
I had no idea that, for as long as I've known you, I've never asked that question. That's pretty sad, huh? I apologize. So she's got like the best job in the world right now.
Yeah, I mean, she's covered the Super Bowl. She had to cover the snow. I mean, she probably had one of her best probably days was the snow thing because the picture she took when I was stuck in Phoenix wasn't here in the snow. But yeah, I think those snow pictures she took when it snowed in New Orleans is probably going to benefit her for many, 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 many years just because the pictures she took were amazing.
Oh, wow. All right.
Nice.
I'll go Nola Val at Nola Val on Instagram.
Yep.
Okay. All right. I'm going to go check that out here at 12:01 once we get off the air. How about the Four Nations face-off?
Yeah, great game. Yeah, I'll put it in perspective. Yesterday's one game, Canada versus USA, had more action than every NBA game on the betting board and had more tickets and money written than some of the Thursday night football games in the NFL. So just think about that. So if that means if it outdid some of the Thursday night football games, that means it probably did a lot more handle than some of the college football games. If you kind of want to look at that, I mean, the Four Nations just pretty much gave the middle finger to the Pro Bowl and to the NBA All-Star Weekend because what they did was phenomenal. And if I'm the NFL and Pro Bowl, if I'm the NBA basketball thing, like, oh, either we need to step up our game or just cancel it. Period. I mean, because it was not even close. Hats off to the NHL. We all make fun of the NHL and their commissioner throughout the years, striking and stuff like that. But I have to say kudos and hats off.
Well, I couldn't agree more. We were just talking about the fact that maybe Major League Baseball should find a way to move the World Baseball Classic to the middle of the year. Now, the Major League Baseball All-Star Game has done a nice job over the years of continuing to be relevant. There's no question about that. But Major League Baseball overall has had a marketing issue for years. And maybe some of that's going to get cleaned up because they're getting out of their deal with ESPN. But to your point about the NHL, I think, and I found myself in this position last night. When I was a young kid, I did watch a lot of hockey. Raphael, my mom being originally from outside of Detroit, loved the Red Wings and Scotty Bowman and Steve Yzerman and Sergei Fedorov and, Chris Chelios and all the guys that played back then, right? And then, of course,
he played for the Blackhawks first.
Well, I know that, but at the end of his career, he played with Detroit. But then, you had major superstars that were world renowned, Mario Lemieux, and of course, Gretzky was a little bit before all this, but we grew up in that era. And we could keep going on. Martin Brodeur, the goalie in New Jersey, et cetera. And I feel like I drifted away from hockey, and I think a lot of people have. I found myself if you go to a hockey game, you're like, man, this is awesome. But I found myself watching that last night, like recommitting to watching more hockey. I mean, as great as it was in the rivalry itself, Canada and America certainly sold what was going on at the Garden last night in Boston. If it was Finland and Sweden, I'm sure a lot of people would have watched, but it wouldn't have been as intense as these two going at it, especially when you bring the whole political spectrum into the picture here. But at the same time, just watching the hockey and realizing how many great players there are in the league. I think that hockey last night reestablished itself to a lot of people who maybe don't follow the NHL a lot, and moving forward, you in your world, you'll know, if they're writing more tickets and stuff like that in betting land on hockey, you'll know that there was an effect from this whole Four Nations face-off event.
Yeah, it will. The only thing that kind of scares me, a lot of these big stars that play in this tournament, they turn around. They're playing on Saturday. They go back to league play on Saturday. Are they going to come back and how quickly are they going to play? Are some of them going to rest? Because if they do rest, then you're going to hear the NFL commentators and the NBA commentators. Oh, look, so and so hasn't played for 3 games because he was too busy playing foreign nations. I think that could be the only negative draw that could come out of this because the NBA commentators and NFL commentators who've been just bashed on how successful are nations. They're chomping at the bits, waiting to see. Oh, someone took a week off. Someone got hurt. Kachuk got hurt yesterday. How long is he going to be out for the Florida Panthers? If he's out significant time, then they're going to breathe and say, hey, yeah, Four Nations was good, but you just lost the star for the Florida Panthers for 2 weeks, 3 weeks. They're chomping at the bits to turn it around on the success that they had. That's the only thing that's kind of scaring me about the Four Nations. But I'm in the moment, and what I saw last night, I was in the moment. It was fantastic TV event.
Yeah, it really was. Hats off to the NHL. It's kind of an idea they came up with overnight, almost.
Yeah.
You know,
But the World Baseball Classic, I don't think they should change it. It's in the perfect spot at the perfect timing, and we saw it. I mean, it was great watching Mike Trout going head to head at the same point at his teammates and get strikes out to lose the game. There's good stories when it comes to World Baseball. I don't think they should. I don't think they need to move it. I think it's at a perfect spot.
Yeah, I know what you're saying. I'm not saying I totally disagree, but there are guys that don't participate in the Classic because they're getting ready for the season, and I wish that they would play.
That might change now.
Well, it could. You're right. Yeah, that might be changing. But then also in July, there's nothing going on in July. And if you owned a week on the stage, the World Baseball Classic, USA and Mexico, or, the Dominican and whoever, I just think that would be awesome for baseball. The issue, though, coming back to what we led this segment off with, is that the All-Star game is actually a really good event. And baseball has done a nice job with this over the years. And this year, by the way, they're going back to the whites and the grays of their own uniforms. Thank God. Yep. So I would hate to see something happen to that, but obviously, I love Major League Baseball, and I know a lot of people don't like to sit through 3 and 4 hours of baseball games anymore. I think people would come back, Raphael, if there was a marketing arm that was much better about promoting the stars of the game. And
that's MLB's biggest issue.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know what? I don't work for ESPN anymore, so I can say whatever I want. They suck at it. Unless you play in the NBA or the NFL, they suck at promoting anything in baseball. So I actually, for the first time in years, think that Major League Baseball has made a good decision here when it comes to, the future of the sport, their television contracts, their marketing arms, and what they're doing. They're getting out of that deal with ESPN. You don't want to cover it? Fine. We'll go somewhere else. Maybe they go to Amazon, Raphael. Maybe they go to Netflix.
I'm going to put odds on. I'm going to put odds on that. Where Major League Baseball, and I don't want to stab ESPN in the back and say they're the worst, because they are one of the worst. But it's us in the media, because we're still talking about football and the combine and all that. Give me a break. Super Bowl is over. Why don't you give the other leagues? We should be talking about the Four Nations leading off on every Fox, ESPN, NBC. But instead, they're talking about combine and what's going to happen to Hill in Miami, and is so and so going to retire. Us as the media, and I'm putting all of us, not just ESPN, we're all do a bad job promoting other sports because we have to live in a 365 world of football when it shouldn't be that way. Give people the Four Nations that a lot of people probably missed because they were too busy listening about where Hill and Patrick Mahomes and Kelsey going to get engaged or retire, or the number one pick, even though the quarterbacks suck in this draft. Give me a break.
That's right. And that's why here on this program, we promote college baseball.
Some big upsets so far in college baseball, too. If you've not been watching college baseball, some teams probably may start it off a little bit slow. But some of these teams are batting when it's minus degrees. I wouldn't be playing baseball when it's 10 degrees and you hit one off the end of the bat. Ouch.
Yeah, it sucks. It is as we were talking about yesterday with Coach Holbrook. You don't put a lot of stock into the first 10, 15 games of the season. It's baseball. Teams are going to lose. Are there – so I did see earlier on my bookie, y'all have odds. There's odds up for not every college baseball game, but the notables. Now, I'll venture a guess that next weekend the odds will be up for Clemson and South Carolina when they play in that 3-game series. Who is the odds-on favorite right now to win the national championship?
Coming out of the SEC, I think it's Tennessee still the odds-on favorite. LSU has a monster a lineup, and their freshman arms are unbelievable. What is it? Got 6'7", I think. In
there's 100 miles an hour. Yeah.
I think he's in the wrong profession if he's 6'7", but that's another issue. Can you imagine if he played water polo? Wow. But I mean, that's just
he'd be disqualified.
I like Tennessee. They have a deep pitching arm. I mean, they can go deep in their pitching, so I think that's why Tennessee should probably be number one unless they have injuries.
Yeah, and A&M is saying, hey, whoa, we're the most talented team in the country.
Yeah.
But A&M's got to get there and do it, and all these other guys have. Yeah. Do you see? I'm sure right now it's a little bit slower, but as the spring goes along, does the betting market see more in college baseball? Like, what's that trend been like over the years?
People are not thinking about college baseball until after the Final Four. I mean, let's face it. Even the NBA, everyone thinks, "Oh, now that football's over." It's no. Right when NBA's over, it's all about college basketball. Because what? In a blink of an eye, we have conference tournaments. I mean, it's the tournament starts the 18th. It's a less than a month away. But college baseball will go into, no pun intended, full swing after the Final Four.
Once they get into mid-April, and I understand
and the weather gets warmer.
Yeah, well, I think that's an issue with college baseball. We've talked about this plenty around here. I think college basketball needs to be backed up, because the beginning of the I think like the first 2 weeks of the college hoop season, it's almost like, and there's always pretty good games. You got all these tournaments going on, Raphael. And a lot of people don't even realize it because it's right smack dab in the middle of college football. I mean, you got conference races all over the place, playoffs that they're talking about. Same thing with college baseball. We were in Columbia last Friday for opening day, and it's such an event. I mean, it is awesome. But then you realize it's February the 14th, and the guys are just reporting for spring training in Major League Baseball. And college basketball is in the stretch run here before you get to March. And just a lot of people don't turn the page. It's just hard to, especially with the weather, as you pointed out.
But I don't understand why they don't move to March like college baseball. At least move it a month. I mean, I'm not saying move it to April and May when it's warmer outside, because then you're going to interfere with college football spring practices. But I would at least move it to March when at least the weather gets a little bit warmer.
Yeah, I wish they would. They could back it up into the middle of the summer. I know historically they haven't wanted to run too deep, kids going in the draft and things like that, but they can do it. They don't need to shorten the season. Hell, if anything, they need to lengthen the season. That's
another story.
That's for another day, certainly. Kind of running the gamut with you here, because we've got the PGA Tour, which is set to go here. They're kind of getting rolling as well. And then you mentioned football, because it is literally always football season. So we'll come back to that here.
Unless Luka gets traded again and he took over the week of Super Bowl.
To dominate the narrative there.
Yeah. Well, again,
then they turned around and got beat by Charlotte a couple nights ago. How about that? Yeah, right. Yeah. Nice, good move.
There's your ESPN baby right there, right? That's your ESPN baby. About a month ago, maybe or so, I asked you about this. I'm going to ask you again. How's the TGL doing?
I think the luster is over. I mean, it was fun for the first couple of weeks, and then the ratings have been going down. The betting has gone down dramatically. I think the only thing that excited me last time I think this week was when Tiger Woods took his hat off, and I saw that big bald spot on it. Shave your head, Tiger. What are you doing? But it's the luster has I think gone off, because now we have golf going. I mean, we had a great weekend of golf last weekend. I mean, this one, the Mexican Open, I mean, that's nothing exciting. But we have some good golf coming on the next couple of weeks. So why do we need the TGL now?
Yeah, I was worried about that running into each other.
The bald spot or the tournament?
No. I get the bald spot. I can understand that. I'm on his wavelength there. Phil definitely is, but
yeah, but I shave. I mean, I just accepted my fate. I'm not out here.
I have not accepted mine.
Holding on to a dream.
Yeah, no, I am.
You got tickets to Turkey? You got.
Yeah. Even Coach Tanner had something to say about it last week. I was like, damn, this guy's relentless.
Hey, Him's company, call Jamie. We can do a sponsor deal.
Yeah, him. Wait, what is Hims?
They do hair transplants. Like they
handle all kinds of stuff. Yeah, they've got hair growth formula, ED meds. The whole nine.
That's what I thought. I was wondering where you're going with that.
Sponsorship deal, Jamie. I mean, I'm just trying to give you guys a good money deal right there, Jamie. Hey, let's go.
Yeah, listen, I'll schlep it if that's the way it goes. If they'll give us some money here, I'll be like Frank Thomas out there talking about how I don't have high testosterone anymore. Yeah, I have no shame in that.
I want you guys to drive Bentleys to work now. I don't want you guys to have your wives drop you off to work.
Well, if you do that, it could get stolen. If you live on the South Beach, just ask Carson Beck.
Yeah, Carson. Yeah,
very true. Somebody swiped his Lamborghini.
Yeah,
I'm sure his six-figure car.
Keep it in. Buy him a new one. Cash.
Right. Yeah. Dry his tears with their money.
Well, how much did he get? 4 million or 8 million?
Something around
I'm sure it's enough to get another one, but let's hope he just springs for the garage in South Beach for this one.
Yeah, they found her car, right?
Yeah, they found the SUV, but his Mercedes and Lamborghini, as of yesterday, had still yet to be found.
Okay, so she's in on it. That's the point. Like, all right, give mine back, chop his up, sell it off, and I'll get rid of this loser. He's not as good looking in person as I thought he was.
Yeah. Talk about
I don't want to date a quarterback that probably can't make a CFL team.
Yeah, right. This guy followed her down to South Beach. She's down there living her dream. She's got any man she wants, all the money in the world. And this cat decides that he's going to transfer down. She's like, how do I get rid of this guy? Oh, maybe if we steal his cards, he'll move back to Athens. On the Hims thing real quick. This is a true story.
Boy, we really went off the rails today.
Yeah. Hey, this is true. Well, it's Friday. It happens. When I was
about TV ratings, guys. I'm all about ratings.
That's right.
Hey, when I was Raphael, when I was working at ESPN, and when I had the afternoon show, we had an account executive who asked me if I would go meet with a client of theirs and to endorse their product. And I said, well, sure. There's a talent fee. Oh yeah. And the talent fee was I think it was $1,500 a month, which is, that's pretty good money. That's really good money.
Talent fee. I need to raise my talent fee.
Yeah. It was a lot. It was a huge contract. It was called the Men's Clinic. Well, I didn't know what it was. And I went over and met with these guys, and we're about 5 minutes. They're showing me around, and I thought it was, like weight loss or something, like physique something, not that I needed to lose a bunch of weight, but I was like, well, let me go see what this is all about. And it was, again, there's $1,500. It's $18,000 a year that was on the table for this deal for me, not for the AE, for me. And so about 5 minutes into this whole ordeal, I realized that they want me to endorse their treatment for erectile dysfunction. And I was like, dude, I can't do that. And they're like, oh no, it'd be fine. You don't have to actually tell them that you've been in here and all this stuff. And I'm like, number one, that means I'm lying to everybody every day. Number two, if I'm not lying, that means I'm telling 20,000 people I've got erectile dysfunction. I don't want to do this. Like,
Hey,
I
money
don't think.
talks. I'll do it. The price is right.
Yeah, listen,
Sign me up.
Hey,
that's right.
I couldn't.
Depends. I mean,
I
whatever
couldn't
you
do
got
it.
here. I'm getting
Yeah, I
old.
know.
We can use it all.
Yeah.
I didn't have it in my heart, man. I couldn't do
JB's
it.
worried about his rep, and I'm thinking about, hey, my wife's got an Amazon addiction. I need some coin.
Yeah, there's only one R word that concerns me in that. It's called retirement.
Yeah. JB's worried, and I'm like, hey, JB, do you have a phone number for them? Let me give him a call.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I was like 30 at the time. I was like, how's this even going to portray itself? Of course, the Bobby, who's one of my dear friends. I was like, Bobby, how old are you? You're in your 60s, right? What do you think about endorsing these guys? No, so I didn't do it. I turned it down. So now I'm very apprehensive anytime I hear stuff like that. Sure, I guess I should have taken the gig, is what you're saying.
Yes. Who cares what people think? It's what my
You'd either
thoughts.
still be making money, or you
I
would
care
have made
what I
money
thought.
for a little bit, and nobody would freaking remember it. Yeah.
I don't know, man. Once I started the new gig, somebody might have cut the TV on like, that's the guy who's got the erectile issues, erection problems.
If someone offered me like a men's Depends, I would take it right now, because sometimes I do shows. I'm like, hurry up and talk. I got to go to the bathroom.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Sign
How
me
long
up
is this
for that.
segment?
Son of a bitch. This guy's killing me. This guy is killing me.
Cue the music.
Man. This guy's killing me. All right. Real quick here. Who's got the highest odds to go number one overall in the NFL draft? We'll continue to update these as we get closer and give us a couple of weekend picks for our betting community.
I mean, again, of course, it's Cam Ward, the projected number one. I think this quarterback class is trash. So it would not shock me if this NFL draft, we see a lot of trades happening, because I think a lot of teams are looking at the success of the Eagles and the Chiefs. I think the offensive alignment is going to be really key this year in the NFL draft. So I would not be shocked if we see a lot of trades in this one. So I'm not really sold on this NFL draft. That's why I think free agency is going to be very key for you if you're looking for a quarterback or inside. I don't see these quarterbacks changing and stuff like that. But I want to give you guys some SEC baseball action. When the conference tournament, or when the conference is still up, you can get Tennessee at 4-1 to win the SEC conference in baseball. Your Gamecocks 20-1 to win the conference. I think it's blown away that some shops have 5-1 at LSU, Texas A&M at plus 450. I'm not sold on this A&M team. I think they're bottom of the order, cannot produce hits. I don't think they have trouble scoring when it comes to key games. I'm sold on Tennessee and LSU. Getting 5-1 to win the SEC for LSU. And you know me, I hate LSU football, but this baseball team is very impressive. I'll take a stab at that at 5-1.
Where can people get those odds?
DraftKings had them up. I think last night when I was doing some research or other stuff, I thought I saw my BetMGM as well. So if DraftKings has it up, I can guarantee you FanDuel has them up. I don't know about ESPN Bet, because no offense to ESPN, that's probably one of the worst books I've ever scrolled around on that one. So
okay, all right. So Gamecocks at 20-1 to win the league.
Yes. Which is a lot of other teams. Vanderbilt's 18-1. I'll take the Gamecocks. Like, if I was doing head-to-head matchups for like who's going to have a better record in conference, I'll take South Carolina over Vanderbilt in a heartbeat right now. I'm not sold on this Vanderbilt. This is not this Vanderbilt team we've seen in the 80s and 90s when they had good teams. This is not the same team.
Or 2000s. Well,
sorry, 2000. So you're right.
NIL has changed.
I was gonna say, that playing field's been leveled. Yeah.
Yes.
Well, they used to go up north. Jack Leggett did it at Clemson. Find great players who wanted to get out of there, because most Southern teams didn't have to recruit up north. They would go up there, they'd get these guys, and of course Vanderbilt, they've got a slush fund essentially. So
it's funny how you said NIL. I did a couple of interviews yesterday, and everyone's like saying, "Oh, we got this guy in NIL." Look at the Kansas Jayhawks basketball program, and this is when you know that NIL and transfer portal can fail you. Yeah, you may have got some great pickups in the transfer portal and NIL, but sometimes that money or that portal does not work for you. And Kansas is showing everyone, they struck out a lot of signings, and a lot of transfer portals have not gelled well. So just because you got some good players in the portal and NIL does not mean you automatically get success. Look at the Blackhawk Jayhawk program right now in basketball.
Yeah, What BYU did to them the other day was wow.
Even I put on a white dress shirt when I was watching that game because that's how bad BYU.
And a bike helmet.
Yeah. It
You,
was a beatdown.
you wore your bike
undergarments?
helmet.
It was a beatdown.
All right, final quick question here. I know the music's queuing, but final quick question, and again, we'll ask this again in a couple, probably about a week or two. If you had to predict today, the SEC gets how many teams into March Madness?
I'm going to say 12. I think
Okay.
Arkansas, Oklahoma, and Georgia, I think they're going to have a hard time this next couple of weeks. I wouldn't shock me to all three of them go down because they were as high as 15, 16 teams in some brackets. I think probably 12.